Howdy folks, in today's video we'll go ahead and take a look at the Moosoo toaster oven air fryer combo unit. It has several things that it can do: toasting, air frying, and a rotisserie type of functions. It is replacing my Black & Decker basic toaster oven that I had for the last 4 or 5 years. I think I got it for $14, $15. So I'm trying to upgrade and see if this can do the toaster oven functions in addition to similar things like air frying and the rotisserie functions that it has as well. It is a 19 quart capacity, so we can do a little bit more than a small air fryer. I'm actually recording this video after using it for about 3 to 4 weeks or so I have some experience with it. I haven't done everything that I wanted to do, but I've used it a bit in order to provide this review and opinion. I'm doing this intro now at the end of it, but I was actually filming and taking photos of different things that I was trying to cook with that, and I'll share that with you guys throughout the video. The idea of this is why I'm trying this is that my counter space is small, so I do not have the luxury of putting in a dedicated small air fryer. I know they're cool, they're popular, however, I just do not have the space for it. So the idea with this is that it is, what I'm trying to do is replace it as a toaster oven, use it as an air fryer, and see if I can do multiple things in here as a mini oven essentially, so that I do not have to get too many appliances. On my counter space is very limited, so I have the toaster oven, I have an Instant Pot, and I have a kettle to boil hot tea. That's it. And then I have a little bit of room left. I cannot do dedicated appliances. This unit is 19 quart capacity, and I got it for several reasons, and I would like to share them for my criteria, because your criteria may be different and you may be looking at a totally different item. So for me, there are many combo units like this, and they are stainless steel, which is great. However, inside many of them have plastic parts. Either the door is plastic, or sometimes the rotisserie function inside. Those items could be plastic brackets, and I don't want plastic in my cooking items. This is just me, nothing wrong with it. Officially, I think many of those are FDA approved, etc. But for me, I don't want the plastic. If that's not a concern or a criteria for you, your options are opening up tremendously. There are not too many items at the moment that do have everything stainless steel. The only piece of plastic that we have is this handle. The inside of the handle here is plastic. This is stainless steel. And we have kind of a rubber gasket at the very, very top here. This part is rubber, and then the top of it is plastic, just here. But in terms of everything that is facing the food, all of it is stainless steel. So that was my criteria. With the air fryer toaster oven, we are getting a couple of accessories. We do get a rack, which is flat. And then we have kind of like a rack basket. And we also have a tray. So we have those things. And at the very bottom, they call it a crumb tray. It is kind of a crumb tray. So you have to take it out carefully because it doesn't really have sides. It just has a small indentation here. I don't know if you can see it very well. So you have to be very careful the way you remove it, because any tilt and your crumbs will be back in the toaster oven. I wish that the crumb tray had a little bit of a lip around it so that you can actually use it to collect things and easily take it out. It still serves a function versus not having one at all. Much better, don't get me wrong. But I do wish that we had a little bit of a lip around that. And the other items that are coming with it is going to be for the rotisserie. So you can put a chicken in here and put it on the rotisserie level. And then this is the tool to put it in and out of. I tried to do a 5-pound-ish chicken, 5.5 pound. It was just a bit too big for the rotisserie. So I ended up just using it as a roaster oven. And I just roasted it in the oven without the rotisserie function. Once I have a smaller chicken, I will try the rotisserie aspect. I have not done the rotisserie yet, but I've done all of the other items in it so far. So because we have 3 levels where we can put things, it makes things a little bit easier in terms of cooking accuracy, depending on what you're trying to do. I generally do keep I use this tray because, as I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the actual crumb tray. So I'm using this as a crumb tray when I need to, so that things don't spill to the bottom 2 elements. And I'll go ahead and remove that now. So this unit has several elements. It has 2 at the bottom, and then it has 4 hot elements at the top. And the unit is stainless steel all the way around. It does have those kind of small rigid indents for the air. There is a small vent on the back here, and it also helps to make sure that you don't position this oven right against the wall, that there is a little bit of a space for ventilation. Again, this unit is all stainless steel around, and it does get warm, so you do need to be careful about, probably if you have it on for just a few minutes, you should be okay, but if you have it on for a long time, definitely would not want kids touching this unit. In terms of cooking functions, we can do several things. I find that they have a lot of presets, not necessarily complex, but something that we just don't necessarily need. So at the core, there are three things that you're controlling: the time, the temperature, and the fan speed. If you can see here, we have the red icon. If you can see it on the display, it's barely lit, but it's red. If it is going to be white, like this, then it's slow fan for the heat, and then red is high fan for the heat. If you want to change the temperature, we press the temperature function and then select our temperature. For the time, we can control the time here. So we can do those independently. There are some of those functions like fries, pizza, bread, bake, air fry, grill, and they basically do the same thing. They just have the preset to something of either temperature, time, or the fan speed. If we didn't have those presets and had those independently, that's my personal preferred aspect, but to each his own. The only function that will be actually different is if we select the rotisserie here that is blinking, because that actually does enable the rotisserie function inside of the unit. That is the only thing that is going to be different in terms of when we're selecting functions. Everything else, it's either going to be time, temperature, or air speed. So if I'm going to go to the very beginning, we have the air fries function. It says cook at 450 for 15 minutes. We have a pizza heating for 450 for 6 minutes. We have a bread toast. It says 12 minutes. I think that's way too much. You're going to burn that thing. The toast here is not going to be the same kind of a toast that you would expect from a toaster. When you get a lot of color, it dries it out a bit, and you have to really time it pretty well if you really want to see some color, because you do need to put it at the top near the heating elements. But normally it may over dry it, so I don't wait for that color. I just do it for 3 or 4 minutes. It's warm, but you're not going to get the same toast as if it was in a toaster oven. And as you have seen right now, if you have some functions that you're going through, but then you don't select the turn on button, then it'll actually go ahead and turn off. To turn on the unit, as I said, you can choose a preset function. Let's say we're going to use pizza, which would be slow fan heat, 450 degrees, 6 minutes. If we turn on, it will come on, and you can hear that. It is not very loud on the low speed. On the high speed, however, much louder. Again, not unmanageable, not too bad, but it is, you can hear it in the room if you're in the kitchen, obviously. I do like the aspect that while the item is cooking, you can check on it and turn on the light if you want to. It is a decent bulb. Not super bright, but it is decent. You can see quite a bit. So I think it's sufficient. This unit has 6 burning elements, 2 at the bottom, which you should be able to see in this video. 1 right here and 1 right there. And then we have 4 heating elements at the top. So I have used it for 3 or 4 weeks now, roughly, and I will post some photos or short videos that I've done while I was cooking. Overall thoughts on this is the following. Because it is a multi-unit in one, it's not the greatest thing at air frying, right? A small air fryer will probably do a much quicker and a better job. But again, because of the counter space, I'm willing to compromise it. It's not the greatest toaster oven or a toaster in and of itself, for example, because it is more of a dryer function rather than a toast where you can get some bread marks, for example, but it is sufficient. I'll compromise on that. So it is a great multi-unit in one, but it's not the best thing in its class for any of those functions. For example, if it's a rotisserie, well, you can't put like a big chicken in there, right? It's going to be pretty small. Again, should be sufficient for most people. However, it's not going to be the best in its class. However, it is achieving the job of reducing counter space and actually allowing me to do multiple things in one, even though It's not the best in any of those specific functions. It can do several things. It expedites some of my cooking, but also has its limitations. And as long as we understand that, that's okay. Another item that I find annoying is that once the cooking process is done, this unit turns on the high speed fan at the very end of the process, even if you have it on the slow aspect. I don't like that. If it's on slow, it can just stay on slow if it wants to circulate the fan a little bit. I don't know why they do it. I don't know if it's some sort of a safety mechanism, but obviously the door is still closed. But at the very end of the cycle, it goes in. Once it hits zero, and for maybe 30 seconds or so, it just goes into high speed fan mode, even if it was on the slow. And by the way, there is no way to turn off the fan. So it's either high fan or low fan. There is not a way to turn that off. Would have been cool if we had that option actually. But because of that high fan kicking in, you have to be mindful on that for small type of items. What do I mean by this? Well, I tried to warm up actually a small tortilla, and I warmed it up, and it was just tortilla in and of itself. I was about to put some salad in it after it, but because that high fan kicked in, even though the tortilla was on the middle rack, it actually elevated it. It actually hit the heating element, and then started to burn. I caught it right away, but those are the things for light type of items. That high fan kicking in can actually screw up your cooking for those lightweight items. Let me talk about an annoyance that I have. It's the beeping sound all the time. You cannot turn it off, and it is loud. You can hear it probably outside of my house, and we cannot turn that off. I find the size of this 19-quart capacity to be adequate for most items, and it is a good compromise given the small counter space restrictions that I have. Yet this unit still allows me to cook most items that I need. So overall, I think this 19-quart is a good size. I like that we have the 3 different levels to put trays in, which gives me more control for spacing them or cooking multiple items at the same time across multiple trays when possible. With the exception of the items already mentioned in this video, this unit will hopefully last for a long time, and I'll just learn to live with the loud beeping sound anytime I put in the input for time, temperature, or function, and I'll get to watch out for that high fan that keeps kicking in when the unit finishes its cooking time. If I have any other updates, I'll put them in the video description or in the comments. Hopefully it will last me for a long time without any issues or problems. Thank you for watching. I hope you have found this video helpful and beneficial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.